I would like to note that the interpreter for this evening is Jose Gonzalez. Please raise your hand and you can ask him for the listening device if you would like interpretation services. Antes de llamar a la Junta a ordenar, me gustaría notar que contamos con servicios de interpretación para esta Junta. El señor Gonzalez está sentado atrás. I'd like to call this meeting to order for the City Council meeting of February 3rd, 2026. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Councilmember Aguilera?
Here.
Councilmember Escobedo?
Here.
Councilmember Soto?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Flores?
Here.
Mayor Patino?
Here. Okay, my button keeps bouncing off and on. Is it on? No? Okay. Because I didn't touch it and it came on. That's why I'm wondering. Okay. City Attorney, Mr. Watson, could you please give the closed session report?
Yes, Madam Mayor. With respect to item 3A, the property is APN 121-224-037. Instructions were provided to the agency's negotiators to take back to the other party.
Thank you. We will now present a proclamation honoring the life and service of Joseph Glenn Alexander. And I feel very honored and privileged to be presenting this tonight. Whereas Joseph Glenn Alexander honorably served the community as an engineer with the Santa Maria Fire Department, demonstrating dedication and professionalism and an unwavering commitment to public safety. And whereas on January 22nd, 1969, while actively operating a fire engine at a structure fire in the area of College Drive and Mariposa Drive, engineer Alexander suffered a fatal heart attack in the line of duty. Whereas Joseph Glenn Alexander is recognized as the first line of duty death in the history of the Santa Maria Fire Department, a solemn distinction that underscores the inherent risks faced daily by firefighters, and whose sacrifice stands as a lasting reminder of the courage, selflessness, and devotion required of those who answer the call to protect life and property, often at great personal risk. And whereas the City of Santa Maria remains forever grateful for engineers Alexander's service and honors his memory as an integral part of the department history and legacy. Now, therefore, I, Alice M. Patino, Mayor of the City of Santa Maria, do hereby proclaim that the City of Santa Maria recognizes and honors the life, service, and ultimate sacrifice of Joseph Glenn Alexander, and commemorates January 22nd, 1969, his last alarm, with profound respect and gratitude. Be it therefore proclaimed that this proclamation ensures Engineer Alexander's name, service, and sacrifice are forever remembered, and that his legacy continues to inspire current and future members of the Santa Maria Fire Department, as well as the community they proudly served. Witness thereof, I hereto have set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Santa Maria to be affixed this 3rd day of February of 2026. And here to receive this and accept this is his daughter, Wanda Acquistapace.
Thank you, everyone. Good evening, Honorable Mayor, council members, and city staff. Thank you all for taking the time to recognize a true local hero, Joseph Glenn Alexander, and his family. Beside me is his lovely daughter, Wanda. Just like every person in our fire department, Joe was an extraordinary person that loved to help others. Countless times he would rush out the door when the alarm rang, putting others' lives and property before his own. On January 22nd, 1969, Joe Alexander was driving a fire engine to a house fire near Hancock College. When the crew arrived, others jumped off to combat the fire, while Joe was struck with a sudden heart attack, still behind the steering wheel. A passing firefighter noticed Joe's state and pulled him out to perform life-saving measures. He never made it home to his wife and daughter. Back then, heart attacks in the fire service were not recognized as line-of-duty deaths. Historically speaking, heart attacks and strokes account for almost 50% of firefighter deaths. It wasn't until December 15th of 2003, with the passage of the Hometown Hero Survivors Benefits Act, that heart disease in the fire service was officially recognized as a long-time contributor of firefighter deaths. Since the tragic loss of Joe, his fellow firefighters and the Santa Maria Fire Department have made many changes to better care for their firefighters. Shortly after Joe and Alvin Newton's passings, his brothers in the department founded the Firefighters Union Local 2020 to help advocate for firefighter health, well-being, and overall job satisfaction. The Santa Maria Fire Department also took large steps to assist in firefighter fitness, to include health, on-site fitness equipment, annual health exams, and partnering with 1-805 to care for firefighters' mental health after tough calls and the loss of life of fellow firefighters. This evening, we honor engineer Joseph Alexander and his entire family for their sacrifice and dedication to the fire service and our city. We stand by you now and always. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you for being here, Wanda. Appreciate it. All of you firefighters are welcome to stay for the whole meeting. The next item is the public comment period. Madam Clerk, could you please read the criteria?
Speakers may provide public comment on any matter within the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council. Excuse me. Each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes, maximum 15 minutes for public comment period. Unless the majority of the council objects, the mayor may provide speakers more or less time to speak. All comments or queries shall be addressed to the council as a body and not to any specific member thereof. Pursuant to Government Code 549-54282, the Ralph M. Brown Act, no action or discussion by the City Council shall be undertaken on any item not appearing on the posted agenda, except to briefly provide information, ask for clarification, provide direction to staff, or schedule a matter for a future meeting.
Okay, did you have any others that are public comment and or that are 12A, Madam Clerk?
Everything you have in your hand,
Everything we have?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so public comment is for anything that is not on the agenda. If you want to speak on 12A, then that is separate. So I'm assuming some of you are here to speak on 12A and not on public comment. Okay, I will start then. I know Mr. Hall wants to speak at public comment for sure. So, Mr. Hall?
Am I really that predictable, Mayor?
Yes.
Thank you and good evening, Madam Mayor, council members, staff, and the citizens of Santa Maria. My name is Gary Hall. I am a resident of Rancho Buena Vista Mobile Estates at 2135 North Railroad Avenue here in Santa Maria. I represent the North Santa Barbara County Manufactured Homeowners Team. Gordon Nesbitt. Nesbitt's primary goal remains to provide protection to all Santa Maria mobile home residents presently living in an unregulated rental market. We are simply asking for the city of Santa Maria to stand with us maintaining affordable housing. Affordable mobile home housing is vanishing here in Santa Maria and all across the state. I have repeatedly reminded you that on June 7th, 2022, nearly 4 years ago, this council passed a motion with the intention of improving the 2020 model lease or replacing it. It has done neither. We believe now is the time to take action to replace the model lease with a uniform, mandatory, enforceable mobile home rent stabilization program, much like those in our neighboring city and county jurisdictions. Santa Maria mobile home seniors also continue to live with the ongoing threat that their senior mobile home park could be converted into an all-age park, as was attempted at Del Cielo Senior Park in Orchid. I brought this to the council's attention August 20th, 2024. Now, 18 months later, we remain hopeful. The draft Senior Mobile Home Park Zoning Overlay Ordinance being developed by Santa Maria Community Development personnel and now in internal review will soon be completed and adopted. It's past time to add both mobile home rent stabilization and senior mobile home park conversion prevention to a near-term future meetings agenda. Excuse me. And now I have a personal note. I have found the ongoing ICE abuse of power, both locally and nationally, appalling. Immigrants, documented or not, are human beings and should be treated humanely. The Constitution and due process should be enforced, not ignored. We must find appropriate ways to address immigration. After all of us have ancestors who were once immigrants. Tonight's resolution is a good first step. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. Okay, I have 20 requests to speak, and this is from FLA, Invisible, Santa Maria, My Cause, but I'm assuming you really want to speak on 12A. Is that accurate?
Yes. Can I ask, so,
Could you come up here, Mr. Solomon?
several sessions ago, we were chastised for speaking about the ad hoc committee.
Okay, just come to the, okay.
So would you clarify for us, if we're here and we're going to talk about the ad hoc committee, is it public comment or
Okay.
is it 12A?
Okay, and that's what, we are going to be speaking on the resolution tonight. That's what's on the agenda. If you choose to speak on another item, you can do so.
Again, several sessions ago, we were chastised because we were told that we needed to speak on public comment when in fact we were speaking later. So
Okay.
just to clarify, I am going to be commenting on the ad hoc committee. So and we've got other people who are asking the same question. Should we be speaking now or should we be speaking on 12A?
Okay. Mr. Watson, either one?
No, with respect to the ad hoc committee or anything other than 12A specifically, they should speak now.
Now, okay. Okay. So if you choose to, then I will call your names, and if you choose to speak now, you may do so. If you choose to speak on the resolution, then you can just say for the resolution. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So I will start with Sophia Navarro. I'm sorry, couldn't you? Madeli Aguirre. Followed by Elvia Salazar, followed by Braden Lopez.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. My name is Maydalia Aguirre, and I am a young resident of Santa Maria and Future Leaders of America Student Council President. I am here to represent and respectfully request City Council agendize the discussion of establishing an ad hoc committee on immigration for future council meetings. While this committee would be temporary and concerns it would be addressed are ongoing and deeply impacting many families in our community. As a young person growing up in Santa Maria, I have seen how immigration issues affect people in real life and personal ways. Friends and classmates live with constant fear and uncertainty. Fear of family separation, fear of speaking and seeking for medical help, and when they need it. When families are afraid, trust in our city council is weakened, and that affects the safety and the well-being of the entire city. If agendized, this discussion can explore how ad hoc committee might improve transparency and community in our trust in our community. Topics such as include requesting formal communications regarding immigration-related arrest within the city limits, allocating city-owned spaces and nonprofit organizations providing immigrant support services, and examining ICE-free zones in our city. This committee could also review compliancy within existing state laws, including California's Value Act and Sensitive Location Act, and California's Truth Act. And as a young resident, I want to live in a city where families are safe and heard, protected, and agendize this item would be important for our first steps towards thoughtful and transparency conversations. I respectfully ask the City Council to place this item in the future agendas. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Braden Lopez.
Sí, claro que sí. Buenas tardes, alcalde y concejales.
Good afternoon, council and mayor and council members.
Mi nombre es Elvia Salazar.
My name is Elvia Salazar.
Desempeño el rol de organizadora de padres en Futuros Líderes de América.
Future Leaders of America, I represent
Yo,
the parents.
yo soy una orgullosa residente de la ciudad de Santa María por más de 26 años.
For more than 26 years, I'm a very proud resident of Santa Maria.
Hoy estoy aquí para instar encarecidamente a este consejo a que establezca formalmente un comité ad hoc.
I'm here today pleading to the council to establish formally a committee for ad hoc
de inmigración y para solicitar que este punto se incluya en la agenda de la próxima reunión del Consejo.
for immigration and to solicit to make a note to include in the agenda on the next reunion, the next meeting, council meeting.
Sabemos cómo las recientes acciones de ICE de aplicación de la ley de inmigración han creado miedo, aislamiento y separación familiar en nuestra comunidad.
As residents, we can have seen the action and the application of the law of immigration and how ICE has been scaring people and isolating them to separate families in the community.
Como organizadora de padres en FLA, es muy triste recibir una llamada o varias llamadas de padres de familia diciendo:
As an organizer of FLA, it is very sad to receive the call from a parent letting us know, Ms. Salazar,
Señora Salazar, ¿puede llevarme a mi cita del dentista?
could you please take me to my dentist appointment?
Señora Salazar, el día de hoy, por favor, ¿puede llevar a mi estudiante a su escuela?
Ms. Salazar, could you please today take my student to school?
Señora Salazar, por favor, ¿puede traer alimentos a la puerta de mi casa?
Ms. Salazar, could you please bring some food to my doorstep?
Esto es muy triste, recibir estas llamadas todos los días.
It's very sad to receive these type of calls every day.
¿Cuántas señoras Salazar necesita nuestra comunidad para apoyarlas?
How many, Ms. Salazar, do families need every day for support?
Nuestras familias inmigrantes están sufriendo.
Our immigrant families are suffering.
Por este motivo,
For this reason,
insto encarecidamente a que reconozcan las preocupaciones en torno a la inmigración.
I plead that you hear our petition to help and assist with immigration laws,
Y opten una postura firme contra los arrestos racistas e inconstitucionales que ocurren por medio de ICE.
and please adopt a firm posture against the arrest, the racist and inconstitutional arrests that happen in the city.
Y adopten una postura firme y basada en principios,
Also, adopt a posture of principle,
tal como lo han hecho las ciudades vecinas de Guadalupe,
as our neighbor cities, Guadalupe, have established,
Carpintería y Goleta,
Carpinteria and Goleta as well,
en apoyo de sus residentes indocumentados.
in support of the undocumented residents.
Por favor, basta de ignorar el miedo.
Please, enough of ignoring fear, our
De
fear,
seguir creando aislamiento y la separación de familias.
to keep people isolated and separating from their families
En nuestra comunidad inmigrante.
in our immigrant community.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you.
Gracias. Braden Lopez, followed by Nan Hageland, followed by Danny Mogg.
Okay. Good evening, council members. I'm here today to urge you to create an ad hoc committee focused on immigration and community safety. Right now, many families in our community are living with uncertainty and fear because they've done nothing wrong, but because they don't know how local policies or enforcement practices might affect them or their loved ones. This fear doesn't just impact individuals, it affects schools, workplace, and overall trust in people who are in local government. An ad hoc committee would give this council the opportunity to gather accurate information, listen to residents, and develop thoughtful policies that protect both safety and dignity. Transparency matters. Our community deserves to know how law enforcement interacts with federal immigration agencies, how data and surveillance tools are being said and used, and whether our city spaces remain safe and accessible for everyone, especially in sensitive places like school, clinics, and places of worship. This committee could also help ensure our city is following state laws and protect due process and privacy, while still supporting lawful and effective public space practices. When people feel safe reporting crimes, accessing services, and participating in civic life, the entire community grows stronger. I ask you to take a proactive and principled step by forming this committee and adding this item to the agenda for our next city council meeting, listening to impacted voices and working toward policies that build trust instead of fear. Thank you all again for your time and your commitment to serving this community.
Thank you. Nan Hagelman, followed by Danny Mogg.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Nan Helgeland. I have been in this room one other time. November 18th, 2025. The session opened with a comprehensive overview from the Chamber of Commerce. They detail their efforts, past, present, and future, to attract visitors and outside dollars to Santa Maria. I found myself thinking about that presentation, and eventually I realized I could offer perspective that would be unique to this assemblage. I live in Los Angeles and the 805 and divide my time equally between the two, stopping in Santa Barbara for an errand or coffee with a friend. I've done some research on my own that you should hear. People in Los Angeles either have not heard of Santa Maria or they think it's in Northern California. They are not coming. People in Santa Barbara are aware of Santa Maria, but still not coming. People in Los Alamos are up here daily, but as a community of 1,300, we are not going to move your needle, even on a good day. I did a personal inventory of my visits to Santa Maria, and they tally to about 4 visits per year, all to one place, Berchtold. However, in the 18th year of owning my ranch, I found myself in Santa Maria almost 30 times. Why the jump? I was up here participating in protests, attending meetings, joining banner drops on your freeway overpasses. I attended a vigil on your front lawn. And sadly, I have been up here numerous times delivering food to the various wonderful organizations working to provide sustenance to the women and children whose breadwinners have been kidnapped off of your streets. And in that year, I learned something about Santa Maria. Santa Maria is full of gold. Santa Maria is full of gold. There is gold everywhere you look. And what is this gold? It's your Latino community. 79% of Santa Maria is Latino. These are the people putting the coins in your coffers, people who are spending money here day in and day out, people looking to provide the best possible lives for their families, the best possible futures for their children. And you do not see this. It occurred to me after a year that you do not see this. You do not see this gold. You do not appreciate this gold. You do not protect this gold. And you do not deserve this gold. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. My name is Danny Mogg, and I'm on the leadership team of the public advocacy groups Indivisible. I'm also a proud resident of Santa Maria in Santa Barbara County. I'm here today to strongly urge this council to formally establish an immigration ad hoc committee to address our community's concern on increasing ICE activity within Santa Maria. This committee can discuss potential action items and resolutions, such as sending FOIA requests to ICE director after any arrests are made within the Santa Maria city limits, allocating city buildings to nonprofits, leading immigration support services for low rent or no rent. They could model the city of Los Angeles by motioning an ordinance to establish ICE-free zones, requesting information from our police chief, Chris Williams, regarding actions toward educating officers on the new state laws that are now in effect and their involvement specifically with ICE. Personal story, I have a grandson. He happens to be Latino. He's 16 years old. He attends Pioneer Valley High School here in Santa Maria. He is a high-functioning autistic teenager. He walks 30 minutes to school and 30 minutes home each day. My family, and any family for that matter, should not have to fear that their children will be racially profiled and abducted on their way home from school. This literally describes life today in Donald Trump's America. Your community continues to bear the impact of these racist and unconstitutional enforcement tactics, leaving many in fear and with little to no trust in their local government. Outside these chambers are immigrants' parents living in fear of leaving their homes or speaking their languages due to the risk of separation from their families. Our youth, who we have an obligation to protect, are being used as bait to lure and kidnap their immigrant parents. Legal observers and community members are standing up to these injustices, are being violently attacked and even killed by untrained agents, all while the world watches. It's up to you to take action and protect a community that has given so much to this city. I've stood at this lectern and presented moral rationale why these policies do not comport with American values. I've explained the legal argument, the language of the Constitution of which I am sworn to defend. I've presented economic facts as to why these barbaric acts are detrimental to the financial health of our city. I'm here tonight to ask the fundamental question I often ask myself, and one that all city officials should ask themselves. Are we meeting this moment in history? Thank you.
Cliff Solomon, followed by Raul Oliveira. Mr. Solomon, followed by Raul Oliveira, followed by Maricela Ortiz.
Thank you for the clarification. Good evening, Mayor Patino and City Council members. My name is Cliff Solomon, and I am here once again to request that you establish an Immigration Ad Hoc Committee. At the last City Council meeting, I highlighted many of the local cities that are taking action and recognizing the serious need of our immigrant community. These communities include Carpinteria, Goleta, Santa Barbara, Oxnard, Santa Paula, Thousand Oaks, Ventura, and Camarillo. I appreciate that City Council is addressing the issue by placing resolution on the agenda that supports all Santa Maria residents. However, as a member of the Santa Maria City Council Immigration Coalition, Indivisible Santa Maria again requests that the City Council form an ad hoc immigration committee to explore additional legal actions the city can undertake. These actions may include renting out city buildings to nonprofits, providing immigrant support services at low or no cost, establishing ICE-free zones across city-owned and city-owned controlled properties with clear signage, and asking Police Chief Williams for updates on efforts to educate officers about the new state laws now in effect and to prohibit involvement with ICE. It is crucial that the ad hoc committee include members, both members of the public and city council members. By forming this committee, the Santa Maria City Council will take tangible action that can make a meaningful difference and demonstrate that it is listening to the community. And I also have a gift for everyone. We had a protest here a couple days ago. We had a local artist put together this wonderful display of monarch butterflies that represent some of the people who are the immigrants who have been taken. And I would like to give you one of these, a portion of this display. So I have five of these pieces of art. Is there someone who could take these? Thank you very much. And thank you for your time.
Thank you. Raul Oliveira, followed by Maricela Ortiz, followed by Teresa Suarez.
Sorry, can you repeat that one more time?
What was that?
Oh, can you repeat? Who's next? Who's next?
Raul Oliveira.
Good evening, Major and City Council member. My name is Raul Olivera. I'm an organizer with Proyecto Mixteco Indígena Community Organizing Project and member of the 805 Immigrant Coalitions in Santa Barbara County. Masked men have gone to our community, terrorizing our community. I'm here to ask you to stand with our community, not with words, but with action. They say they were arresting criminals. My friend was arrested and did everything legally. This is not a coincidence. Santa Maria is a community of immigrants. It is the one that has been most impacted in the county. This is not what we hear. This is what we know. We need our leaders to take actions, again, not with words, but with action. Our community needs you to stand for what's right. We need you to talk about what's harming us and for you to make a decision that will benefit our community as a whole. We are a community of immigrants. Our indigenous and farm-working community who has been most impacted is asking for you to establish an immigration ad hoc committee to respond to the impact of immigration enforcement and provide recommendations that holistically address inequality ties, racial injustice, economic hardship, social strains, and mental health challenges. This committee should include key stakeholders and community-based organizations working directly with those most impacted, such as farm workers, gender, domestic workers, landscapers, indigenous leaders, and the most impacted and vulnerable in the jobs sector. We're looking forward to you standing in solidarity with us. Thank you.
Thank you. Maricela Ortiz, followed by Teresa Suarez, followed by Guinevere Cannon.
Buenas tardes, alcaldesa Patiño y honorable concejales. Mi nombre es Maricela Ortiz, navegadora de robo de salario con el proyecto Mixteco Indígena.
Good afternoon, Mayor Patino and council members. My name is Maricela Ortiz. I work with the Theft Salary Project, Mixteco Indígena.
Comparezco hoy para solicitar la creación de un comité ad hoc de inmigración con el fin de proteger el bienestar de nuestra comunidad y garantizar el respeto a sus derechos constitucionales.
I'm here today to request the creation of a committee of immigration ad hoc with the goal to protect the well-being of our community and to guarantee the respect and the constitutional rights against all the negative actions and inhumane actions from ICE.
Hoy vemos familias separadas, padres y madres arrancados de sus hogares y niños que quedan solos.
Today we see separated families, fathers and mothers ripping away from their homes, and kids left alone.
¿Qué crimen han cometido estos niños? Ninguno. La comunidad agrícola no es criminal.
What crimes have these kids have committed? None. The agricultural community is not a criminal.
Su único delito ha sido trabajar arduamente bajo condiciones extremas.
Their only crime has been working really hard under extreme conditions.
Para que haya comida en nuestras mesas y sostener la economía de esta ciudad y país.
So that we can put food on our tables and to sustain the economy of this city and our country and the country.
Todos los seres humanos merecen dignidad y respeto.
All of human beings deserve respect and dignity.
Criminalizar a una comunidad por su origen es injusto e inaceptable.
To criminalize a community because of their origin is unfair and unacceptable.
Les pedimos que actúen con urgencia y conciencia y se coloquen del lado correcto de la historia, el de la justicia y la humanidad.
We ask that you act with urgency and conscience and to be at the right side of history, which is justice and being human.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you.
Teresa Suarez, followed by Guinevere Cannon, followed by Patricio Solario.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Teresa, and I'm one of the coordinators for the Thank You Youth Program at MyCup for the Santa Barbara County and a member of the 805 Immigrant Coalition. I'm here to respectfully request your support in establishing an immigration ad hoc committee. Through this committee, our community can come together to thoughtfully discuss and develop local resolutions that protect undocumented residents from unconstitutional enforcement practices currently being used by ICE. Potential actions could include establishing ICE-free zones and city-owned and city-controlled properties, requiring clear and visible signage on city facilities, and more. These measures would mirror ordinances already approved in cities such as Los Angeles. The urgency of this matter cannot be overstated. Now more than ever, we must come together to protect our community. Continued postponements places families and children at risk, and safety should never be delayed. Let's not feed into the narrative that immigration enforcement only targets criminals, because we know this is not true. Our communities have experienced firsthand that these actions go far beyond that and are deeply rooted into racial profiling and harmful stereotypes. These practices impact entire families, especially children, creating fear, trauma, and long-term harm into their well-being. When fear is normalized, the whole community suffers. It is also important to acknowledge that this land was taken through colonization and that many who continue to benefit from that history have never been held accountable. The real threat to public safety is not immigration residents who live, work, and contribute to our community, but the erosion of constitutional rights and the normalization of fear. We must be clear, continuing down this path risks further divisions and chaos, something we're already witnessing in other parts of the country and even here in Santa Maria. Santa Maria can and must do better. Our community deserves safety rooted in dignity, justice, and care for all families. Thank you.
Thank you. Guinevere Cannon, followed by Patricio Solario, followed by Sergio Castillo.
Hi, my name is Guinevere Cannon, and I'm quite sure that the mayor knows me by now. I'm looking at this adoption of resolution expressing support for immigrant residents of Santa Maria. I would like to propose that why don't we do an adoption for a resolution expressing support for ICE, the police department, the fire department, and the first responder. I never hear anything about expressing support for the gentlemen and the women that goes out, risk their life, may not come home, the family may not see them again. But yet what I hear daily, and I hear the rhetoric about racist. I hear the rhetoric every day about I'm not being respected. You know, this is what the Bible said. The Bible says if you walk around in fear, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. So if you walk around in fear, that means that you have something to hide. I walk in this city in freedom. I'm really here to speak on behalf of, if you're a district attorney in this place, a judge in this place, the reason why we see what we see is because of the fact that we do not do our job. If there's a criminal, like I work every day, and I go and I see the highway patrol. Here it's 7 in the morning, someone's walking the line because they're probably drunk. He doesn't get them out of their car because, hey, I have nothing else to do. They're drunk. And if they're drunk at 7 in the morning, they're drunkards. And my question is, how many of these drunkards are still in our streets because they're not persecuted, they go to jail, they get right out of jail, and then we're asked to say, be nice. No, I am not nice about someone that's out to kill someone. I may kill my family or kill me on the way home. I'm absolutely not nice about that. And those who have this real ugly for the ICE officer, I do not. They're here to serve our country, They're here doing what they are supposed to do. Let's arrest the criminal. So if you're a criminal, you're supposed to be arrested. If you have nothing to hide, you can walk around in freedom. But I will stand. I will come in here and stand for the authorities that take care of us and our family. I will not downgrade them. And I think it's time for America to stand up. And I pray for you city councilmen every day, because I believe that God is in charge. And there is nothing that God does not see. He sees the evil and he sees the good. And God is a just God. He's a merciful God. But he's merciful when you call on him and say, I need your help. And those that are in this room here, you sit and you say, my kids are afraid. My kids are afraid. If you know that you are not legal.
Thank you, Ms. Cannon.
Thank you.
Ms. Cannon. Patricio Solario, followed by Sergio Castillo.
Thank you. Statistically, criminals are U.S. citizens at a higher rate than undocumented folks, just for the record. So good evening, Mayor, City Council. My name is Patricia, and I'm Deputy Director of the Fund for Santa Barbara. I'm here to urge you to vote to form an immigration ad hoc committee so the council can engage in deeper and more intentional discussions about what the City of Santa Maria can do to address activity in our community. Many of you have been very vocal about what you can't do. At this moment, our community needs leadership that is willing to focus on solutions. Forming an ad hoc committee is not a radical step. It is the absolute least you all can do to grapple seriously with the fear and harm our community is experiencing. The City of Santa Maria, as you know, is a majority Latino city made up of many immigrants and first-gen citizens like myself. These residents are the backbone of our local economy. They are workers, parents, business owners, professionals, and taxpayers. And they are deeply disappointed by the city's lack of a strong, visible show of support. An ad hoc committee would create a space for education, dialogue, accountability. It would signal that this city council is willing to listen, learn, and lead, rather than remain silent. I urge you to be more vocal, more intentional in standing with our immigrant community. This is the opportunity to do the minimum that leadership requires and to stand on the right side of history.
Good evening, Mayor and Council Member. My name is Sergio Castillo. I am community organizer with Michael and member of A05 Immigrant Coalition. I'm here today because for us, protecting our families and children must be a priority, especially in this moment. So, cuando guardamos silencio, el miedo se normaliza. Alzar la voz permite visibilizar el impacto real de las redadas migratorias.
When we stay quiet, fear normalizes. When we raise our voice, the real impact of this immigration raids become real, and the kids are with anxiety, constant anxiety.
Niños que viven con ansiedad constante, que tienen miedo que sus padres no regresen a casa, y familias que se ven forzadas a preparar planes de emergencia ante una posible separación.
Children that become fearful that their parents might not come back home, and the families are forced to plan emergency until a possible separation.
Hablar de esta realidad es una forma de proteger su bienestar emocional y su derecho a una infancia segura.
When we speak this reality, it's a way to protect their well-being, emotional well-being, and their right to have an upbringing or a childhood secure for them.
Hoy me solidarizo con la comunidad indocumentada de Santa María y pido a este consejo que también tome una postura clara.
Today, I become part of this community that is undocumented in Santa Maria, and I ask the council to also take a stand, a clear stand.
Por esta razón, solicitamos que se establezca un comité ad hoc de inmigración con el propósito de evaluar y proponer resoluciones locales.
For this reason, I request that an immigration ad hoc committee be formed with a purpose to evaluate and to propose resolutions, local resolutions to protect the residents undocumented.
En Santa María, las recientes acciones del control migratorio han sembrado miedo.
In Santa Maria, the recent actions have created quite fear.
Padres que salen a trabajar sin saber si volverán a casa. Niños se despiden cada mañana con el temor de no volver a ver a sus familias completas.
Parents go out to work with the fear of not coming home. Kids say goodbye every morning with the fear that maybe not see their families again.
Hogares que antes estaban llenos de vida, hoy viven con ansiedad y silencio. Ninguna comunidad debería vivir con ese dolor.
Homes that before were full of life and joy, today they live with anxiety and quietness. No community should live through this pain.
Como comunidad, tenemos la responsabilidad de alzar la voz por quienes no pueden hacerlo, proteger a nuestras familias, garantizar los derechos de todos y vivir sin miedo es un compromiso que nos fortalece.
As a community, we have the responsibility to raise our voice for those who cannot speak, to protect our families, to guarantee the rights, everybody's rights, without fear is a compromise that unites us.
Cuando actuamos con solidaridad y compasión, recordamos que la dignidad y la unidad familiar deben estar siempre por encima de todo.
When we act with solidarity and compassion, we remember that dignity and family unity have to be always be on top of everything.
Thank you so much.
Anna Heng, am I pronouncing that right? Okay. Followed by Armando Santiago, followed by Ronaldo Rodriguez.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name's Anna Nguyen, and I am the program director for MyCOP in Santa Barbara County. I am also a voting resident in the city of Santa Maria. I am here today because, as a member of the immigrant community of our region, we need all of us to speak up and advocate for our protection. I stand with the undocumented community of Santa Maria and ask that our council take a stand as well. I come today to ask you to please establish an immigration ad hoc committee to discuss potential local resolutions that protect undocumented residents from the unconstitutional tactics currently being used by ICE. When established, this committee must discuss the high rates of arrests and ICE activity taking place in our city. At our office, we are constantly receiving families seeking support because their loved one has been arrested or deported. Sometimes it's dad that is taken, and being the primary financial provider in the home, our office supports mom and children with long-term assistance, which could be figuring out how to pay rent, get food, childcare, etc. At other times, it's mom that is arrested and deported. And when that happens, we scramble to figure out how to support the babies in the home. It's an even bigger challenge supporting children when both parents have been deported. More support is needed. as City Council, you can do more to support. This ad hoc committee is a good start, and we appreciate the resolution, and we also need action. Thank you.
Thank you. Armando Santiago, followed by Ronaldo Rodriguez, followed by Fernando Martinez. Armando.
Yo. Hola, buenas tardes, ya casi noches, alcaldesa Patiño y concejales. Espero que estén muy bien.
Hello, Mayor Patino and council members, almost evening. I hope you're doing well.
Mi nombre es Armando Santiago, soy organizador comunitario con la organización El Proyecto Mixteco Indígena, MICOP.
My name is Armando Santiago. I'm an organizer, community organizer with MICOP, the project of Indigenous Mixteco.
Estoy aquí para pedir de la manera más atenta que se tome acción contra ahora sí con el tema del comité de ad hoc, el cual es fundamental que se pueda establecer en la ciudad.
I'm here to ask the kindest manner to take action and to form the committee for ad hoc, which is fundamental to establish in the community of Santa Maria.
Aquí en Santa María para discutir posibles resoluciones locales que protejan a los residentes indocumentados de las tácticas inconstitucionales que realiza ICE.
To discuss possible resolutions, local resolutions to protect to the residents, undocumented residents from the tactics, unconstitutional tactics that ICE is using.
Está utilizando actualmente, y asimismo para proteger y cuidar el bienestar de cada uno de los habitantes que forman la ciudad.
As they're using those tactics to establish and to protect the well-being of the citizens, of the inhabitants of Santa Maria.
Que en la gran mayoría los habitantes son trabajadores agrícolas que solo buscan salir adelante de la manera más honrada posible.
Which the majority of the people are workers, farm workers, that they're only looking forward to work and the most honest manner.
Es injusto ver cómo las leyes están protegiendo más a los agentes de ICE que a las propias personas.
It is unfair to see how the laws are protecting more ICE agents than the same people.
Es inhumano que por solo defenderse o defender a sus familiares puedan quitarles la vida.
It is inhumane that only because of defending themselves or defending their relatives, they could lose their life.
¿Acaso el simple hecho de tener un color de piel diferente, una estatura diferente o un lenguaje diferente te hace ser menos persona?
Is it simply because of having a different color skin, having a different height, or speak a different language makes you a less person of a person?
Solo me gustaría terminar diciendo que las leyes son para proteger y cuidar de cada habitante de este país.
I just like to finish by saying that the laws are to protect and take care of every citizen of this country.
Por tal razón, agradecería que tomen en cuenta estas palabras y esta petición que no solo me involucra, sino que es para la comunidad y la comunidad somos todos.
For this reason, gratefully, I'd like you to take these words into consideration and this petition that not only involves me, but it's also for our community and everyone else.
Me gustaría comentar, todos somos personas, todos somos humanos, todos vivimos en este planeta. Entonces, todos tenemos los mismos derechos.
I'd like to add that we're all humans, we all live on this planet, and we all have the same rights.
Gracias, que estén muy bien.
Ronaldo Rodriguez, followed by Fernando Martinez, followed by Lorena Martinez Cruz.
¿Reinaldo?
Sí.
Ok. Buenas tardes, alcaldesa Patiño y concejales.
Good afternoon, Mayor Patino and council members.
Mi nombre es Reinaldo Rodríguez, organizador comunitario con MyCOT aquí en Santa María.
My name is Reinaldo Rodriguez, an organizer from the community of MyCop here in Santa Maria.
Estoy aquí en solidaridad con nuestra comunidad trabajadora y en apoyo a la propuesta de establecer un comité ad hoc de inmigrantes que fue puesto sobre la mesa por la concejal Soto.
I'm here as part of solidarity with our community, the working community, to support the proposal to establish a committee ad hoc here for immigration that was brought to the table by Council Soto.
Una resolución para reconocer lo que está pasando no es suficiente y la sugerencia es tomar acción más concreta para ayudar a nuestra comunidad.
Resolution to see what's happening is not enough. And the suggestion is to take action, a concrete action to help the community.
Tengo confianza y fe que este comité va a ser de gran apoyo para velar y alzar la voz en protección para miles de residentes que vivimos en esta ciudad, independientemente de su estatus migratorio.
I have faith and trust that this committee is going to be great support to oversee and take care of the voice of protection for families to residents that live in this city, regardless of this migratory status.
La aplicación de la ley migratoria ha escalado a un nivel que nunca se imaginó. Hoy ICE tiene la orden de matar a cualquier persona que se oponga enfrente. Me pregunto, ¿esa es la democracia o la libertad que tanto se resalta en este país?
The application, the way ICE is applying, has escalated to a level that we have never imagined. ICE has the order to kill any person that is in front of them or is opposed to them. I ask myself, is this the democracy or the freedom that this country offers?
Lamentablemente, las políticas racistas e injustas de nuestro gobierno federal han impactado negativamente a nuestra comunidad, su seguridad, mi seguridad y el bienestar general de nuestra comunidad.
Sadly, the racist and unjust and unfair politics from our federal government have impacted negatively our community, our safety, the safety and well-being of our community in general.
Creo que estamos de acuerdo que si alguien ha infringido la ley, que se le aplique el debido proceso y no que traten a todos por iguales como criminales, y eso no es justo para ningún ser humano.
I believe that we all agree that if someone has broken the law, to have a due process and not just to try everyone the same like criminals is not fair for anyone.
Los recientes operativos federales han generado temor e inestabilidad para todos los residentes que vivimos en esta ciudad. Esta acción genera mucho miedo en las familias al momento de ir a trabajar o llevar a los hijos a la escuela.
All the federal activity has taken a lot of fear and instability to the citizens of the city. Do action, it creates a lot of fear and the families at the time to going to work or taking the kids to school.
Lo único que pensamos es que en cualquier momento pueden pararnos o peor aún, ser asesinados por los agentes de ICE.
The thing that we're thinking the most is that at any time they can stop us or even worse, be killed by an ICE agent.
No es justo para ningún ser humano vivir una vida llena de miedo.
It's not fair for a human being to live in fear.
Si eso está en nuestros pensamientos los adultos, y no me imagino cómo estarán los hijos viviendo con este trauma.
If I live with this fear, with these thoughts as an adult, I cannot imagine how the kids are dealing with this trauma.
¿Y qué tipo de generación nos espera?
And what kind of generation are we expecting or hoping for?
Con la intención de formar este comité, la ciudad de Santa María podrá mantenerse mejor informada e involucrada con nuestra comunidad inmigrante.
With this, the forming of this committee, the city of Santa Maria will actually be very well informed and be involved with the community, with immigrant community.
Cabe resaltar que es justo lo que merece nuestra comunidad trabajadora.
Please note that it's fair and just. This is what the community deserves.
Su atención y su respaldo como concejales. Gracias.
Your support and attention as backup, as council members.
Thank you.
followed by Lorena Martinez Cruz. Followed by Lorena Martinez Cruz, followed by Isaac Gill.
Good evening, Mayor Patino and fellow council members. My name is Fernando Martinez. I'm a community organizer with MyCop and resident of Santa Maria for over 25 years. I'm here today to strongly urge the council to formally establish the Immigration Ad Hoc Committee to address the recent concerns in our community related to the increase of ICE activity in Santa Maria. Councilmember Soto uplifted the need of an ad hoc committee back in September, October, but was pushed back. And I really hope that pushback time allowed each of you to think about what you can do to better protect our community. If established, this ad hoc committee could thoughtfully examine community impacts, identify concrete actions, resolutions the city can take to better protect our immigrant community. I know we often hear that cities cannot enforce or change federal laws, but we can often take actions to help, to serve, to provide resources. For example, this is one of the many options that can be done. For example, as part of an ad hoc committee, the city can submit a FOIA requesting information to Immigration and Custom Enforcement following any arrest made within city limits, a practice that is already being used in the city of Santa Ana. The city could also allow municipal facilities for community members to gather, hold meetings for nonprofit organizations that are providing legal and immigration services for education, emergency support. These are one of the many examples that are being created within different city councils across California. So I really hope, you as our representatives, I'm in District 3, so I really hope my District 3 representative can take action to support our community. Proactive leadership from City Council is essential. That's why you were elected. This action will help ensure our immigrant community feels safer, informed, and respected in the city they call home. Unfortunately, community members have been arrested by ICE, many who have no prior conviction, many who have not been to jail or have not been cited for any arrest or anything. We respectfully urge you as a city council to move forward with an ad hoc committee. And I repeat, I know you cannot change federal and federal laws, but you can definitely take action like other city councils have done to better serve our community. So I really hope you take the action that is needed. Thank you.
Lorena Martinez, followed by Isaac Gill, followed by Michelle Ambris.
Good evening, City Council members. My name is Lorena, and I'm a student at a local high school. I am here today to urge you to vote in favor of forming an immigration ad hoc committee to address the increased fears our community is facing. It's honestly so disappointing that youth like myself have to come to a city council meeting to ask for something so basic, such as the safety, understanding, and compassion for the people you oversee. You as city council should have taken a stance a year ago when students walked out of school, rallied, and showed up to a city council meeting asking for protection for immigrant families and immigrant students. As youth, we should be focusing on our education, future, and our families, not pleading our local leaders to protect the very community that keeps the city running. This isn't just affecting adults, but also youth. When we see our families, neighbors, and friends living in constant fear, we feel that fear too. If you don't set a date for this motion and vote in honor of it, the mistrust for our local leaders will only continue to grow. We're here because we still have hope that our leaders will finally listen and take action to protect their community. Thank you.
Isaac Gill, followed by Michelle Ambris.
Good evening, council members and Mayor Patino. My name is Isaac Gill. I'm a local student at Pioneer Valley, and tonight I'm here with cause. But more importantly, because I'm tired of seeing my community hurt. I'm here because the injustice is happening to a huge part of our community, our immigrants. These are our street vendors, our essential workers, our daily laborers, our parents, our neighbors, and our family members. They are contributors to the Santa Maria Valley in every sense. And yet today we've reached a point where people are afraid to go to work, afraid to take their kids to school, afraid to seek medical care when they need it. Now, I want to share a story of a friend of mine who recently her father was kidnapped. Despite what some sources like to say, he was not a criminal. But even beyond that label, what happened afterward is truly what matters. My friend, who is already working one job, had to take on a second job to care for her family and her father. Overnight, she became responsible for burdens no young person should have to carry. That story is not rare. She wasn't the first student this happened to, and nor will she be the last unless this city council decides to take action. But what we're seeing right now is fear becoming normalized and human decency being pushed aside, and that should scare all of us. This is terrifying. This is a terrifying time for our community, and it's important that you truly see, not just hear it, but feel it. We're watching what's happening across our country right now, and the question I keep asking myself is, what makes us think we're immune? What makes us think Santa Maria is next or not? That's why it's so important that you, as our elected officials, take action. As a community, we're not asking for anything extreme, rather asking for the bare minimum. Furthermore, Councilmember Flores, I live in District 2. And 4 months ago, this conversation was tabled because you needed more information. Since then, you've heard the community's outcry, and at this point, actions matter more than waiting. Our community's safety should not come second to discussions about more dog parks, while our families are living in constant fear. This is why I urge you, the committee, to support the Immigration Ad Hoc Committee and finally set a date to vote on this motion. Please take action. Our lives, our families, and our futures depend on it. And Gloria Flores, can you please stay off of your phone while people are giving public comments? Thank you.
Michelle Ambriz, followed by Sophia Navarro.
All right, good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Michelle Ambriz. I'm a policy advocate for CAUSE, volunteer for 805 Rapid Response Network, Santa Maria resident, specifically in District 1. I'm here today because Santa Maria continues to be heavily impacted by the increasing ICE activity, like many of you know. And like many of the people in this room, I've been here at every meeting since September. Back in October, you guys, over 3 months ago, actually, this council decided to table the motion to establish an immigration ad hoc committee until February. Now, February is here. The discussion item has not been agendized. We need this ad hoc committee as a direct way or a direct action you can take to support the city. And so today I'm here to request for you to establish an immigration ad hoc committee, discuss potential local policies that can protect undocumented residents within that committee, and request that this item be agendized for the next council meeting, or as soon as possible. We've waited long enough. If established, this committee could potentially discuss sending FOIA requests for immigration or for ICE after any arrests made within Santa Maria city limits, allocating city buildings to nonprofits, leading immigrant support services for low rent or no rent, motion to establish ICE-free zones across city-owned, city-controlled properties that require clear signage on those properties, establish permit processes for civil enforcement operations, and preserve lawful criminal law enforcement and the execution of valid judicial warrants, similar to an ordinance already passed in Los Angeles.
Also, in this committee, you can discuss requesting any information from SMPD's Chief Williams regarding any actions towards educating police officers on state laws related to immigration. This includes the California Values Act, limits state and local law enforcement cooperation with federal immigration, the sensitive location, SB 81, which strengthens protections for sensitive locations like hospitals, clinics, and health centers, and complying with the California Truth Act. As of today, there have been 1,571 confirmed kidnappings throughout the region, with 401 of those right here in Santa Maria. That is 28 more since the last time I was here. That is 28 more families that have been impacted and are hurting due to loss of a family member. Today, you've heard how volunteers, community organizations, and even our youth have had to step up to support their neighbors because our council continues to fall short in that. So, yeah, our communities cannot afford for you to wait. We need direction. We need direct action and support now.
Okay. Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just a quick question, Michelle, and I believe you submitted one of the letters, right? Yes. In that part, it says permit process for civil enforcement operation. What does that, can you give me some more clarification? What does that mean? It's a point number 3 that you sent, this motion to establish a free zone cross and then establishing a permit process for civil enforcement operations.
Excuse me, could you please come to the podium?
Yeah.
Because we have to record this.
And so you're talking about the permit process for civil enforcement operations?
Correct.
So yeah, I think this can go back to like the FOIA requests and asking for if there are going to be any raids, arrests within Santa Maria, making sure that Santa Maria is alerted beforehand or alerted first, so that we can keep our community safe. Back in last year, November, a car collision happened due to an ICE arrest happening. So just making sure that we're being able to protect any community members in the area during any arrest or raids, alerting the city first beforehand.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Sophia Navarro.
Hello. Good evening, Council. I'm here, I'm making it quick this time. I'm here to voice my disdain of how federal agents are violating our rights here in our community and across the nation. I'm hoping this City Council will do everything in its power to prevent further collusion of our law enforcement and Sheriff's Department with this disgraceful agency. Please establish concrete policies to stop further collusion with this federal agency. It's honestly disgraceful how they're just blatantly disregarding all our rights. The way they do the arrest, I mean, is video evidence not enough for you guys to see how disrespectful these agents are being? Please follow our county supervisor's dictum in Santa Barbara in holding the sheriff accountable for colluding with ICE. Thank you. That's all I have for today.
Councilmember Flores.
And I wanted to make a comment to the gentleman in my district. I was on my phone taking notes for the radio station that I go to tomorrow morning. So that's why I was on my phone. Thank you.
Okay. Should I have, huh? Nope, that's it. Okay. Thank you very much for being here. I'm sorry, Mary. Oh, that's for 12A. Oh, is that? Go, is that Gohan? Okay, yes, come up here. Usually after, what happens after an item starts, then the other slips don't get turned in, so, yeah. Go ahead.
It's one of his first council meeting, so. You want to read that one? Los saludas first. Say hello. Good evening.
Hello, City Council. I want to talk about, have you ever heard the saying, if your friend jumps off a bridge, will you? Think about it. Trump is leading USA off a bridge. Are you going to let your community jump off that bridge too? I am done. Thank you.
Okay, that completes. Mr. Valenzuela, did you wish to speak now or on item 12A?
Thank you, Honorable Mayor and esteemed City Council members, staff. My name is Esteban Valenzuela, and I'm a lawyer in Santa Maria. I'm also the commander of the American GI Forum, Hispanic Veterans Family Organization, is established in Santa Maria for about 50 years, has worked very hard in the community for all these years to support students and Hispanic families in education primarily, and continue to integrate into our society as productive citizens. And I want to compliment the City Council on preparing an ad hoc committee to deal with the immigration issues that have become so violent with the tactics by ICE that have put our children in fear, our families in fear. There have been many abuses that we as veterans are attempting to confront. There's been deportation of Hispanic veterans that have been decorated in the Vietnam War, for sure, we know that. And their families have given a great commitment and service to this country. And we appreciate that this city is going to be prepared to deal with any type of invasion that we're seeing in other cities on the television, in Minnesota, Los Angeles, other cities that are being subjected to this brutality, people being pulled in their vehicles, veterans being arrested just for driving up to the scene. So whatever participation the American GI Forum can give this effort to develop with the city a policy that hopefully can be established by ordinance so that there is some legal standing to resist abuses to our community. We fully support and thank the City Council for their work. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That concludes all of the public comment period. Chief Williams, did you wish to make a remark now or just wait till 12A?
Whatever you'd like.
It's up to you. You can do it now if you'd like.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, council members, and community. I, as your police chief, feel it's important that you all know and understand that the Santa Maria Police Department values and enforces all the state laws. And as has been well established, as I've mentioned before in previous council members, as well as putting out social media posts and speaking at community groups, that the Santa Maria Police Department does not collaborate, work, or enforce any immigration laws, nor do we ask anyone that we make contact with what their immigration status is. The Santa Maria Police Department is committed to serving our community with honor, and we want everyone to know that they can contact the Santa Maria Police Department and seek assistance if they're a victim of a crime. If they need our assistance, we will be there for them. We have taken many, many steps to try to build a bridge with our community, including going out to the fields and engaging with the community, partnering with local Mexican radio stations, going to community events, welcoming community members to our National Night Out, and demonstrating time and time again that we support our community and we do not care what their status is, whether they're legal or illegal in the United States. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we will, we'll now move on to the consent calendar. Does anyone have any
Madam
item?
Mayor, I just need to announce the one written comment that we received, and it was from Michelle Abrez.
Okay.
Who spoke.
Thank you. We will now move on to the consent calendar. Does anyone have items they wish to pull for discussion?
If not, Madam Mayor, I would like to submit the to move the consent calendar to be passed.
Okay.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Councilmember Escobedo.
Aye.
Councilmember Aguilera.
Aye.
Councilmember Soto.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Flores.
Aye.
And Mayor Patino.
Aye. Next is a regular business item. Madam Clerk, can you please read the title?
Adoption of a resolution expressing support for immigrant residents of Santa Maria.
And the report will be given by City Manager David Rollins.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and City Council. Tonight we brought forward a resolution for your consideration tonight. This was at the request of City Council at our last City Council meeting to bring this back for adoption. It addresses the support for the immigration community and also the law enforcement, basically echoing what Chief Williams just explained to the community. So I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. Any comments from the council at all?
Questions?
Yes.
This is more around policy clarity. Beyond SB 54, do we currently have a written citywide policy on how staff should respond if ICE requests any information or access?
We don't have any written policies, no.
What type of guidance are staff currently given if ICE were to enter any of our city premises?
Well, fortunately, they have not done that. Our staff would treat them as any resident in the community would come to our facility. We're not going to be interfering, blocking. They're going to carry out their duty just like we would the police department. If there was an issue, we'd contact our police department to come down and assist our staff if we need to.
What kind of relationships does the city currently have, formal or informal, with some of the community-based organizations that are providing rapid response efforts or legal assistance to immigrant communities?
We don't have any specific written agreements with any of the groups. It's more coordinated efforts talking with individuals that come to our city council meetings. We've had some meetings with some of the other groups who are doing some of the protests. They met with our staff and with our police department. We ensured them that we are there to make sure they are protected. They have also doing a courtesy and notifying city staff prior to any protests. We are aware to make sure we keep any protesters safe while they're out there protesting or demonstrating their rights. When
there's any type of ICE enforcement activity in the city, Is there any line of communication between federal agents and our local police department?
Madam Mayor, Council, specifically Councilmember Soto, there have been times in the past when I first started back in late April of 2025, periodically the Department of Homeland Security would call if they were going to do a surveillance. They would not give us specific locations, just notifying us that they would be in the area to conduct non-enforcement activities. And that is what we were told, so we wouldn't have any blue on blue or law enforcement engagement where we would, if we, for instance, got a call for service of a suspicious vehicle in the area and we showed up to mitigate any hostile action with our officers and the federal agents. After a couple of months while being the police chief, that communication has ceased, and we no longer have any communication with federal enforcement officers. I don't know exactly why that is. I would presume because they fear that we could potentially compromise their safety by relaying that information to the public.
Chief Williams, what kind of training how are our officers being updated on the new state laws that have been passed by the state legislator? For instance, ICE agents not being, one of those laws being that they don't wear masks or face coverings. That's just an example. So do our officers by any chance get trained on the current state laws that are coming out to protect immigrant communities?
Yes, they are. Unfortunately, the mask law that you're referring to is not enforceable by us towards the ICE agents. They are federal law enforcement officers and they're basically not impacted by our state laws and don't have to follow our state laws. So our officers, if we were to see ICE agents that are masked, there's nothing that we can do about it as local law enforcement. In regards to the Values Act, SB 54, our officers are well versed. It's not a new law. It's been around for, I don't know off the top of my head, but at least 2 to 3 years. And our officers have continued training, whether it be briefing training, legal update training, on all laws that are applicable that they are required to enforce.
Those are all the questions I have. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
I think at the last meeting, there was a question about, 2 weeks prior to our last meeting, where there was an incident on South Broadway. And I think we were asked to get information on that.
Yes, we have sent in the information, and we have for the request of information to the ICE agents through their channels. One through the original we got from Councilmember Soto, sent that back in, then they sent it back in and said it's the wrong department, so we sent it in to another department, and we have not heard back yet at this point in time.
And you're talking about the FOIA requests that we made?
Correct.
And that was 3 weeks ago?
Approximately 3 weeks ago, yes.
And we're still waiting.
And we're still waiting?
Correct.
And Chief Williams, do you have any information at all on that incident?
The incident on Broadway?
Yes.
Yes, Madam Mayor. I was told through our field supervisors that responded to the call, we were not contacted by ICE. We were contacted through our 911 communications center because it was an airbag deployment, a traffic collision. So our officers responded as a call for service, thinking it was an injury traffic collision. When our officers were on scene, They obviously noted that it was involving a federal law enforcement officer, that their vehicle had been rammed. They, being the federal law enforcement agency, had taken that person into custody. And we simply just stood around to ensure that the public was safe, because there was a crowd starting to gather, and we didn't want there to be any further violence or issues. Our officers did not take any enforcement action and just maintained the peace and took the traffic collision report because it was in our jurisdiction.
You said federal law enforcement, so it was not ICE, or who was that?
I believe, from my recollection, Madam Mayor, it was both Department of Homeland Security and ICE officers.
And
They were
ICE
doing a
officers.
federal criminal investigation.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions?
No.
Okay. Madam Clerk, are there any requests to speak or written comments? I think I have one.
I
Request to
did
speak.
provide you with one of them, but we did receive written comment, and I should have said this during consent. We received for item 11C1 from Jeffrey Wheeler. We have 3 written for this item right now: Hunter Jameson, Joyce Littman, and Sarah McDonald.
Thank you. So I have Christina Wood.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor Patino, City Council members. Sorry, I need cataract surgery, so this is going to be a little tough. My name is Christina Wood. I'm a proud member of Santa Maria Indivisible, 805 Immigrant Rapid Response Network, and a resident of Santa Maria and a voter. I'm the granddaughter of immigrants, a defender of the U.S. Constitution, granddaughter of a World War I veteran, a daughter of a World War II veteran, and I appreciate the sacrifices that they made to defend America from fascism. Now I'm taking up the fight. I'm requesting the formation of an ad hoc committee to address our community's concerns regarding ICE activity and abuses, to consider potential responses like sending Freedom of Information Act requests to the ICE director following the abduction of anyone within the city limits. We've had people taken and their families haven't known what's happened to them because they've been denied their the telephone call that they're entitled to and communication with an attorney. So sometimes the families don't know where they are until they pop up on a Facebook page in Tijuana. And that lack of transparency is very, very harmful, obviously. I can imagine kids coming home and not knowing where their parents are and not having access to finding out, and ICE not responding when they easily could. So if the ad hoc committee could work towards getting transparency, I think that's minimal respect that everyone deserves. And I just wanted to share something that happened on December 28th during the ICE raids. I was driving around on the west side of town and saw 2 high school girls standing on the corner looking rather upset. I'm a 34-year veteran teacher, and so I pulled over to see if they were okay. And they had witnessed a man, a neighbor, being chased down the street, tackled, and zip-tied. And then they showed me the video. He was also kicked in the face numerous times. A man who's zip-tied face down, no threat. And that happened in our city. And I'm just so sick of the abuses. I just wanted you to know that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Wood. Okay. So do I have any motion? Do I have any comments on the resolution?
I have comments, Madam
Okay.
Mayor. I want to thank staff. First, I want to thank Councilmember Aguilera for bringing this resolution forward, and I also want to thank staff who took a jab at drafting this resolution. I will say that I was extremely underwhelmed by what I read. In reading the resolution, it lacks showcasing the fear and the instability that ICE has caused in our community. It doesn't state anywhere on this resolution that that we as a council are prohibiting any type of city resources, staffing, or facilities from being used for ICE enforcement. Nowhere on here does it talk about training on constitutional rights or just know your rights training, and these are things that other cities have done: LA, San Francisco, Oakland, Richmond. On here, there is nothing about partnering with nonprofit organizations who are conducting on-the-ground rapid response efforts. Cities like San Jose and Santana have done that in their own resolutions. Emerville is another great example where in their own resolution, they also talk about making sure that their city does what it can to get information as much as possible by asking the city manager to provide a report to the city council detailing any type of request that may come from immigration authorities within their city and what the response is from city officials, so that accountability and transparency is lacking in this resolution, as well as like I mentioned earlier, just acknowledging the fear, trauma, the family separation, and the real harm and economic disruption that is being caused by ICE. Nowhere on here are these things really stated in this resolution. And so I wanted to bring that forward because the questions that I asked at the start of this discussion were really to get a sense of the efforts that are being conducted by the city at this moment, which are very minimal, as well as seeing how we could tie the areas that are visibly lacking into this resolution.
Okay. Anyone comments? Anyone have any comments?
Yeah, I
Mrs.
think if,
Aguilera Hernandez?
yeah, I think if the police chief has stated that our officers are being trained in state laws and that we are not using our resources, then I would say that should be in the resolution because it's already happening. So we're already not cooperating with ICE, we're not helping them, and we are training on officers, as the chief of police said. So I would say that we should add that because Santa Maria is already doing those things.
And it goes beyond, right? Beyond collaboration with law enforcement, because we know what state laws and so yes, definitely including that language on here, but going beyond that and making sure that no city resources, no staff time outside of PD, no facilities, no parking lots city owned are that those are prohibited for any type of enforcement. And so making sure that is clearly outlined in this resolution is going to be important, in my opinion. I can email my suggested edits, or I can read them line item by line item if the council wishes,
Well, I think we could email them to the city manager.
and then have the resolution be brought forward again.
We can do either, whatever the pleasure is. Tonight, hearing some of the testimony of people that came forward and accusations that were made that I don't know are valid or not, but if you could put that into some kind of a letter and ask that question, the questions that we had. It gets very disturbing when I hear people say that ICE is killing people. And we know people have died. We know that. We've seen a lot of the protests, and to me, I think so many of them were violent protests. But let me tell you something. Those ICE officers, our police officers, our firefighters go to work every day, and they deserve to come home at night to their loved ones. They really do. I am. Let me tell you something. Some of you may not be aware of this. Do you know Santos Melendez? Does that name ring a bell? Morales Suarez, Aaron Hernandez Sanchez, Ulises Garcia Mendez, Abraham Rojas, Eric Martinez, Miguel Castillo, Jorge Alfaro, and there's other names. So back in 2013, and it went on for 3 years, we had killings in Santa Maria. People were killed. And MS-13 came in Santa Maria and set up shop. We had people coming in here and saying to us at the council, well, if they weren't this color of skin, maybe you guys would do something about it. And that really hurts when you're up here and you are helpless. One night, coming up at the dais, Ms. Zuniga said to me, well, nobody got killed this weekend. I was thinking it, I never said it. And I think it's really sad when you see a community being taken hostage by a gang. And that's what happened to us. And it is very tragic and very, very sad. And then you have a young kid get shot and killed on our streets. And I can't imagine what it, and these are kids too. I mean, they have parents, they have sisters, they have brothers. And this young man, this kid gets killed on our streets. I can't imagine what his mother went through. And then the kid that was with him that survived, what his mother went through also. But all the victims in Santa Maria, not just the ones that were killed. Then one day, another story, 2 young men, they were cousins, went out to Guadalupe and they were playing soccer out there. Our police officers on those burner phones got messages that the MS-13 was heading out to Guadalupe to kill these 2. Our officers beat them to it. Found one of the young men standing next to the car watching the soccer game going on. And our police officer said, where is so-and-so? He said, he's out there playing soccer. He said, get him right now. He said, we're getting the 2 of you out of here. And saved the lives of those 2 young men. Our police officers, along with Homeland Security, ATF, County of Santa Barbara Sheriff, County of San Luis Obispo, probably Ventura, saved a lot of lives. And then there was the name you might remember, Marilyn Ferris. She was brutally, brutally murdered, raped, murdered in her home. This man had been, sheriffs were aware of him. He had tried to rape another woman before. He had a rap sheet. He should not have been in this country, and yet he murdered this woman. Those men, the MS-13 that murdered all these people, they should not have been here. And it's really, really sad when you see this happen in your community. Parents did not want their kids playing out in their front yard. They didn't take them to the parks. It was so dismal. And like I said, the father of this young man came here to the podium. The family of this young man that was murdered on our streets came here asking us to do something about it. The MS-13 gang members that were picked up on, I'll never forget, it was March 3rd. I went down to the police station and I saw these people. Each one individually were held in a car in the Sally Port in the back of the police department with their hands handcuffed. We went in on March 3rd, not me, our police officers went into homes in Santa Maria, went to another home in Bakersfield, another one in Columbus, Ohio. That was at 6 o'clock in the morning. It was 3 o'clock in the morning. You can't imagine. I'm thinking, I don't want any of our police officers hurt in this. This was a dangerous, dangerous thing that they were doing. And none of them got hurt. And and I am praying because I don't want any of them hurt. We've already had all these murders in Santa Maria. Now, the people in that MS-13 gang, they worked out in the fields. They had a work ethic. They got up every morning and went to work. They had families. Can you imagine toddlers, young kids in these homes? I can't imagine. And a lot of the kids, of course, had to be placed in homes with nearest relatives. So I had to live through that. So my perspective, on that is probably much different than some of your perspective on it. And this is really difficult. And I kept saying to our police chief at the time, when is this going to end? When are we going to be able to do something? And finally it happened on that March 3rd. We're just about coming up on March 3rd. I can't begin to tell you the horrific things that man did this woman that he brutally murdered in her home. A lot of it wasn't even in the newspaper. And then I sit on a board fighting back Santa Maria Valley, and one day I'm taking this young boy home to his house. He lives on the west side of town, and we're talking, and I'm talking about things he wants to do. He's probably a sophomore in high school. He's telling me that his brother wants to be a police officer, but he can't be a police officer here because he's here illegally, so he's going to have to go back to Mexico to be a police officer. And I'm thinking, that shouldn't be. These kids have whatever age he was when he came here. They're Americans. They've gone to our schools. They've pledged allegiance. They sing our songs. They're Americans. They've been raised here. And I have a Mayor's Youth Task Force. I take these kids to the universities. I take them to museums. I take them to anything that I think is enrichment for them so they're exposed to things. I don't ask them for their status. And I know, I think it was not back in Trump's first administration, he tried to get something passed through on DACA. These kids that have been here all their lives and have come here as children, as far as I'm concerned, they're Americans. And so you're coming here, you're asking us to do something that we have little or no authority to do. We can do all these things, but that's like putting a Band-Aid on a huge surgical wound. I have no problem talking to our congressman and saying, hey, we really need to do something. This is at the crises. It really is. We had people out here protesting when MS-13 was murdering people in Santa Maria, and we were doing nothing about it. And it's like I said, it's such a helpless feeling when you have that, and you have to make a decision on something. We can make decisions on all kinds of things that will not ultimately affect your life. But I think this is bigger than this little Band-Aid. I think it's really sad when I see people out there yelling and screaming. We're not the bad guys. We really are not the bad guys. When I saw millions of people coming across the border through the last administration, they were never vetted, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what is that going to mean to all of us? There's no way to quantify all of this. We can have all the ad hoc committees and we can talk about different things here in our community, but this takes really action from our leaders at the federal level. And I have no problem talking to our congressman and say, hey, we really, but let's be reasonable, because we're talking, and I get it, we need to come to the middle. And we don't need to lose any more lives getting there. But this is, like I said, what I have been through, and seeing what's happened to Santa Maria. And, people will say to me, we would like to have Santa Maria back where it was in 1955 or something, when it was a small, lazy little town. And I have no reason to believe that all of you aren't being honest when you come up here to speak. I question some of the numbers. There's a few things I question, and I've asked Mr. Rollins to find out. But I just think it's really sad. And I'm not making excuses. I'm just telling you what we are able to do is very limited as a city. I do not want Santa Maria as a sanctuary city. I do not want to protect criminals in the city of Santa Maria. I do not. I think that has hurt Santa Maria. Some of the state laws that we have seen, whether it was Prop 47 or others, have hurt California. And that hurts all of you out there. That hurts all of you.
Does this council agree with the tactics that ICE is currently using? Is that something that we can at least agree on?
You know what? When you say tactics, I have no idea.
Not following the Constitution, killing people in broad daylight, using excessive force, detaining people without due process.
In the state of California, if those jails were allowed to give the criminals over to the federal government, then we would be getting these people out of here. And I don't want the criminals, because when they're released from that jail, you know where they go? They don't go to Santa Barbara, and they don't go to LA. They come into Santa Maria. So they're releasing people out there out of the jails. When we have, our police don't ask what their immigration status is. They're not allowed to ask. We have, and remember you brought this forward, there was that family that was killed over on Blosser, drunk driver. We have drunk drivers all over this city, all the time. They go down Railroad Street and they're running into walls, and that's a straight street. So this is a huge problem. It's not just today, it's not just ICE, and I really have no idea what they're actually doing here in Santa Maria other than what communications our police chief or our city manager can have with ICE.
I believe that there's a lot of people who share the sentiment that we don't agree with the way ICE is carrying out their protections. And my intent was to have a resolution where we made it clear that the city of Santa Maria stands with the immigrants. And that's why we are here today. I think it's important to look at the language. I think it's important to look at the suggestions. And because Santa Maria is a city that's very rich, and we have a lot of immigrants, as I stated at the last council meeting, my parents are immigrants, I picked strawberries as a child. It is a difficult life. And the immigrants come here looking for a better life. And we are a rich country because of the immigrants and the different types of immigrants that have come to America over the years have enriched our country, and that's why we are a melting pot. So my intent was to make it clear to the entire community that that's where Santa Maria stands, and that's what the resolution is about. It is not about creating division or creating more hate. And it's not us versus them. It is about our neighbors, our community, working together to help each other. A lot of people are volunteering to take kids to school because the parents are undocumented. I volunteer to take kids to school when the parents are scared. And as a community, we can't rely on the government, the federal government, to come save us. We have to come together, and we have to stop creating division and help each other. We have to take food to our neighbors. We have to give each other rides. We have to help each other, and that was my intent, to bring unity to our community. And that's where I would like to move forward with this resolution.
Is that a motion? Okay, I have a motion.
What's the motion?
To move forward with the resolution.
Oh, did you had some?
I do. Do you want me to read them?
Yeah.
Okay. So some additions that need to be added to the whereas. Whereas immigrant residents of Santa Maria contribute significantly to the city's workforce, economy, schools, and civic life, and many families have deep multi-generational roots in the community. And whereas recent federal immigration enforcement activity has caused fear, trauma, and disruption for families, workers, and students in Santa Maria, undermining community trust and public safety. Whereas local governance requires not only compliance with state law, but clear policies, staff training, transparency, and coordination to ensure all residents can safely access city services without fear. In the sections that are outlined, revising them, Section 1, the City Council deeply affirms its support for all residents in the city of Santa Maria, regardless of immigration status, and commits to fostering a city where all residents can safely access services and engage with local government. Section 2, we need more clarification there. All City of Santa Maria policies and procedures are in compliance with California state laws that protect undocumented individuals, including Senate Bill 54. Santa Maria Police Department does not ask about, collect, or retain information regarding immigration status of individuals encountered in the course of its duties. And then adding a third section, no city funds, personnel, equipment, facilities, databases, or other resources shall be used to assist any federal immigration enforcement activities. Adding an additional section, the city manager is directed to ensure that all city departments, including non-law enforcement departments that regularly interact with the public, receive periodic training on SB 54 and related state protections for undocumented residents, constitutional rights, and appropriate responses to federal immigration enforcement requests or presence within city facilities.
So I think it covers that that the police department is trained in the Values Act SB 54 or any state laws, that we are not using city resources, facilities.
Databases, personnel, or any resources
Okay.
to assist federal immigration enforcement. and to ensure that city departments are trained regularly, especially those that interface with the public.
So training regularly, follow state law. And what we are doing already is not use.
Okay, I think, the rest of the council needs to be privy to all this information before a decision is made. At least that's my opinion, because it's a lot of addition to that.
I have a question maybe for the city attorneys. That part when, now we're talking about more like a policy than, from what I understand of, now we're moving from this resolution to more like a policy, because now I listen to a training for everybody, actually everybody in the city, and is that what is being trying to do? Just get lost into, if I understand correctly, also about the not permitting the facilities to host any parking of an ICE agent and so on and so forth. Is that, are we doing that or just?
Sounds like your question is, what's the difference between policy and a resolution?
Yeah, it's in that regards, because, everything, it starts sounding more like a policy than a resolution. Just want to.
Just for clarification, first of all, the maker of the motion has not amended her motion. The second has not amended her second. That was a suggestion. And until it's adopted, it's neither. However, the clear direction provided is a policy that would be enforced and enforceable by the city manager, and that appeared to be at least the intent of the amendment. Am I correct? Okay, then that is exactly what you were correct.
Okay.
However, procedurally, it still has not come either from the
Because right
maker
now
of the
we have
motion or the second.
Because we have a motion and a second on the
On
table.
the original resolution.
On the original resolution.
Okay, so would you like to withdraw your second? Or, because, okay, I don't know how legal this even is, and so this has to go back to the attorney.
I'm going to make sure it's legal.
Yeah, I know that, but it has to go back to.
But first of all, again, you have to move it forward.
Yeah.
Right.
Or it dies anyway. So the question is, first for Ms. Aguilera, whether or not you accept those amendments and are going to move them over to the second.
Right, I think that's the
first question.
I think that was the inquiry from Councilmember Escobedo, is that he wanted to see the language, whether it's a policy or a resolution.
No, I just what clarification from you guys, since there has been what exactly is that in this resolution wants to be added as per request from Councilmember Soto?
Yeah, because the language changes.
It completely changes.
It totally changes. So we have to decide what we're doing. And I'm not even clear now, because now it's the language that you brought up, Soto, with the training and with everything else that goes with it.
Mm-hmm.
We have to decide how we're going to do this, how we're going to move it forward. We need clear direction.
Okay.
Do we give the language to the city manager?
Okay, wait a minute, before we get to the language. Do you want to take back your second at that point?
No.
Okay, so your motion was made on this resolution?
Yeah,
Is that
so
correct?
my motion was that the city bring a resolution forward.
But I'm saying right now, your motion was made on this resolution?
Yeah, that's what was in that
Okay.
was what noticed to the
And
public.
that's what the second was made on?
And
is
that
this
was the
resolution?
language
Okay.
that we
Okay.
that we gave to the public, that we noticed, right? We're required by law to give notice to the
Okay.
public.
Right.
Okay.
But we can also
So-
amend and not accept what was presented.
Okay, so then Ms. Soto put in what she wanted in the resolution.
And now it would be a matter of Councilmember Hernandez to decide if she accept the amendment, and you keep the second,
Okay.
right? Because
Is the motion
because-
with the resolution as stated
Yes.
or with changes?
no, it's right now
As
as I
is.
understood
Okay.
it was as
So
it is.
let's go through the voting process
Yes,
then to move
the
it
motion
forward.
is as stated here, and the second is as
Yep.
stated, unless they want to withdraw the motion and the second.
No.
Or modify their motion.
Any further discussion? Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Councilmember Aguilera?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Flores?
Aye.
Councilmember Escobedo?
Aye.
Councilmember Soto?
No.
Mayor Patino?
Aye. Motion carries. Okay. So the next item on the agenda will be report by City Manager, Mr. Rollins.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council. Our next city council meeting, we will be having the Chamber of Commerce doing their quarterly report for us. We will also be looking at some disposition of some of our old buses and equipment and looking at doing a generator purchase. So we're also working on a couple other items that aren't on the current upcoming agenda list. So that's all I have for tonight. Thank you.
Then we'll proceed then with 3 oral reports from council members. Who wants to begin?
I will.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I went January 21st to the 23rd to the Cal Cities Mayor and City Council Academy in Sacramento. And then, did I say May? I meant January. January 27th, I went to the Boys and Girls Club standing with the youth. And then also in the evening, I went to the Police Council. And then the 29th, I went to CADA board meeting.
Mr. Escobedo.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I also attended the 16th anniversary of the Boys and Girls Club. Looking forward for this year. It's really close to as a former board member, it's a really close organization to me, and the work they do is phenomenal and fantastic, particularly since they are in the heart of my district. So shout out to the Boys and Girls Club team and everybody. And that's it.
Thank you. Mrs. Aguilera Hernandez.
Yeah, so I also attended the Boys and Girls Club Standing with the Youth breakfast. I went to a Caltrans meeting on the 21st. On the 26th, there was an Econ Alliance board meeting. On the 27th, I attended the Police Council mixer, and I attended the Board of Supervisors meeting. On the 28th, I attended the Investment Committee meeting, and I also attended a county meeting regarding street vendors and the restaurants that are being affected by that. And then on the 30th, I attended the ribbon cutting for it's called Las Mujeres Park in Guadalupe. And that is all.
Thank you. Ms. Soto?
On Wednesday, January 21st, was that the last one? I attended the City of Santa Maria and Airport meeting. Let's see what else. I attended a budget ad hoc committee on Monday the 26th. I attended a meeting on homelessness on January 29th. I attended on the 28th, I forgot to mention, I think it was the 28th, the Standing with Youth. And on the 30th, I also attended the meeting with Joan Hartman via Zoom on their new ordinance on street vendors. And that is all I have to report.
Thank you. On January 20th, I did the Ben Hayes show, which tomorrow morning Councilmember Flores will be doing. On the 22nd and 23rd, I attended the League of California Cities Policy Committee on Housing. And from the budget as it stands right now, we're not going to see any extra money for low-income housing. We're not going to see any money for homeless coming to our area. On the 26th, I attended the Budget Ad Hoc Committee. On the 27th, I attended the Police Council Membership Social. On the 28th, I attended the 3 CE Policy Board Meeting of Directors Special Meeting and the Marion Foundation Board Meeting. On the 29th, I attended the Leadership Santa Maria Valley, and on the 30th, the CalCog Board Meeting. And with that, ladies and...
Madam Mayor, before we adjourn,
Yes.
I would like to end the meeting in honor and to recognize those who have died due to ICE actions in 2026 or in their custody. Keith Porter, Geraldo Lunas Campos, Luis Gustavo Núñez Careces, Luis Beltrán Inés Cruz, Renee Good, Prati La, Victor Manuel Diaz, Herbert Sanchez Dominguez, and Alex Preddy.
Thank you. This meeting is adjourned.